ओम गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुस्साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। नमामि गौडपादं च शङ्करं श्रीसुरेश्वरं स्वामिनं सच्चिदानन्दमिन्द्रं तं ज्ञानरूपिणे। I don't remember up to what point we have covered. I think I somewhere start from here. The Purvapakshis, probably we were here. It may be little repetition, but doesn't matter because I am not able to exactly remember. Purvapakshi is trying to defend his position. When Siddhanti told that the purpose of giving example, the drishtanta of Rajata, Shukti and Rajata, the seashell and silver, was only to show that one thing appears as different from what it is. Appears as differently from what it is, that's all. So and Purvapakshi is taking how a different object is produced. We have told, they say Adhyasa is not simply a misperception according to them. Adhyasa is not simply a wrong understanding, but a wrong object that is created. It is a substantial, it is a material, and that wrong object requires a material cause, and that material cause transforms. The fourth point is Jnanam removes that material cause, because there is a real removal. What they mean is a real removal. So Siddhanti told all this is unnecessary imagination, unnecessary complication, imagination, too much of these things. So in everybody's anubhava you don't find, in everybody's anubhava we find adhyasa is a simple misunderstanding, and nobody can understand your explanation of adhyasa as a product and then it is got a material cause and all that. It is all imagination, imagination, imagination. And more than that, I think now I remember what we touched. We touched the nature of adhyasa, the nature of jnanam, and the nature of vichara. There, the first thing is they accept adhyasa as a product, avidya is a material cause which transforms it, and jnanam is something which destroys avidya. Their concept of causal avidya, karana vidya. So jnanam destroys karana vidya. Third point is if we accept these 2 points, the nature of vichara also changes, because the real nature of vichara is only just observing the truth, shifting the standpoints from the nama rupa drishti to Brahman, and then you see that there is no adhyasa. The mistake is non-existent in the real standpoint. In the standpoint of truth, there is no adhyasa, there is no misunderstanding, there is no avidya. So it is only in understanding that you are already free from avidya. Removal of avidya means understanding that there is no avidya. there is no real removal. There is no presence of avidya and there is no removal of avidya. There is no presence of avidya and there is no removal of avidya. It is only in the right standpoint of the truth you understand that avidya is already not there. Because avidya appears to be there only from avidya standpoint. Avidya appears to be there from avidya standpoint. From the standpoint of the truth, neither avidya nor removal, both don't exist. See, neither avidya nor removal. Because, but Purvapakshi, according to Purvapakshi, a karana is there which transforms into adhyasa, and the jnanam which comes destroys that karana. Like sun after rising, he takes some time to destroy the fog. Fog doesn't melt away instantly as the sun rises. Supposing even if you take melts away. You see in the example, when the sun rises, as soon as the sun rises, fog doesn't melt away instantly. It takes few minutes or at least half an hour or so in the early morning, particularly that North Indian winter, Rishikesh, Haridwar and Delhi and all those places. Some days the fog remains a whole day. Fog remains a whole day. The traveling in Delhi becomes impossible. Buses get suspended. You won't be able to see anything on the road. So here, the sun, the risen sun, the sun who has risen, takes some time to melt away. Okay, this is an example. We will leave this example and take only this much, that as soon as the sun rises, supposing that the fog gets melted. Okay, in the example, fog doesn't get melted instantly, but for sake of consideration, in order to give concession to Purvapakshi, let us say, just it is an imaginary example, we are slightly modifying the illustration to give concession to Purvapakshi. What is that? As soon as the sun rises, the fog melts away. In fact, it doesn't melt away instantly. It takes some time to melt away. But let us assume that as soon as the sun rises, with the help of the sunlight, the fog melts away instantly. Okay? Purvapakshi takes this much. When the jnanam takes place, jnanam melts away the ajnanam, he says. But what Siddhanti says, Shankaracharya and Satchidanandendra Swamiji and we say is, the very rising of jnanam is going away of ajnanam. There is no really going away of ajnanam. Just as fog melts away in the sunlight, there is no positive ajnana to melt away. Purvapakshi says ajnana is a positive substance which gets melted, which gets burnt, whichever example you like it, whether getting melt away, it gets melt away or it gets burnt, whatever way we take it. But the jnanam after rising, it destroys the avidya. Avidya is a material substance. Jnanam really destroys it. Here Siddhanti says, ajnanam is only absence of knowledge, or adhyasa. Adhyasa means a wrong understanding. As the jnanam rises, there is no avidya, that's all. Avidya removal is not an occurrence as an event. Jnanam coming and fighting with avidya and destroying it, if you say that, it becomes a karma, not jnanam. Shankaracharya told jnana is only a jnapakam, natu karakam. This is most important. If jnanam is only jnapakam, not karakam, then jnanam destroying avidya makes no sense. So we have got a 4 karma phala, which I have told you. Karma phala means utpadyam, one is a production, vikaryam, modification, samskaryam, purifying, apyam, acquiring what is away from you. Acquire, either you reach the place or you bring the object near you. In any way you cover the distance and go near to it. Come near to it. This is apyam. Utpadyam, a non-existent thing, you produce it. Vikaryam, one thing is modified into another. Milk gets modified into curd. So this is a vikaram. Production is you produce something new. Like you build a building. You build a brick. Or build a building. Or you produce a calf is produced from a cow. A baby is born. Or a tree is produced. So here in a production, what was not existing you produce newly. In modification, one object is modified into another. In samskara, neither production nor modification. Only alien element was sticking to it. You remove those alien elements and the thing remains. Alien elements were sticking to it. The impurities were sticking to it. You wash away the impurities and the vastu becomes pure and clean. Okay. Apyam means reaching a place. Reaching or acquiring, either way. Either you reach the place or you acquire the object that comes to you. These are the four kinds of karma phalas, the result of karma. Now is jnanam. When you know jnanam, when you gain jnanam, when jnanam destroys ajnanam, which of these four phalas take place? Do you produce something new? Or do you destroy really something? When jnanam comes, does it destroy ajnanam? Is ajnanam a substance, a material which is destroyed by ajnanam? Or you modify? Or you purify Brahman? Or you reach Brahman? What is that? So, jnanam is only a jnapakam, natu karakam, when Shankaracharya says. Jnanam doesn't modify anything, change anything, affect anything. It only just reveals. It illumines, that's all. What does it illumine? If ajnanam was a material substance, jnanam comes, it would reveal that there is a material. Or does jnanam only illumines, doesn't modify, doesn't change, doesn't affect any change in the thing. But they say it is something like a fog which instantly gets burnt away, gets melted away by the light. Just as fog gets melted away in the light, similarly ajnanam is something, a material which gets destroyed, which gets burnt by. Just a minute. Okay, ನನ್ನ throat tablet. Ajnanam instead of illumining, instead of revealing, it is making some effect. It is doing some effect. So this understanding of jnanam and ajnana relation, the nature of ajnana and the functioning of the effect of jnana, in these two things there is a mistake the Purvapakshi made. They talk of ajnanam as a substance material, as a positive material, and jnanam fights and defeats it. I tell you, you are making it as a story, like a war that the two people come together into the battlefield and fight, and avidya is a one rakshasa and vidya is a one devata, and devasura sangrama. It takes place in the battlefield and it goes on for 1 century, and then the asura gets defeated. And don't make it a story, okay? Don't make it all these things. Jnanam coming and ajnanam going, there is no such thing called going. The very arrival of jnanam means ajnanam going away. Ajnanam means absence of knowledge. Okay, the absence of knowledge goes away when the presence comes. See, a person was absent before. A person was absent here. As he arrives, his absence will go away. Go away means what? What happens? The person comes, that is over. There is no absence. Absence itself doesn't exist. Similarly, Jnanam arriving, Ajnanam going, there are not two things. The very arrival of Jnanam means there is no Ajnanam. Once you switch on the light, there is no darkness. Darkness going away, nobody has ever seen darkness is going away elsewhere. Do you sweep the dark and pack it and put it into the dustbin so that the municipal fellow will take away? Do you throw away the darkness or do you burn it off? What do you mean by darkness? Nothing existence. It is only a simple absence of light. That's all. When the light comes, there is no darkness over. So similarly, in Shankaracharya says, Jnanam Jnapakam Natukarakam. What does it mean? Have you ever thought over this statement of Shankaracharya? He mentions this repeatedly in many places. In Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Sutra Bhashya, Taittiriya Bhashya, in many other places. Jnanam Jnapakam Natukarakam. Repeatedly he says this. Jnanam just illumines. It doesn't bring about any changes. So their concept of Jnana, Ajnana, interaction, encounter, let us say not interaction. Jnana, Ajnana, encounter. Jnana comes and encounters with Ajnana, defeats it and destroys it. This doesn't make sense. If you imagine like that, then the very production of Jnanam also becomes a problem. The very Vichara. In Vichara, what do you do? In Vichara, just you observe. In that thing, the wrong standpoint, your mind is shifted to the right standpoint. That's all. Nothing is changed. So in the right standpoint, Ajnana is not there. That's enough. So in the very Vichara style also changes if you accept Jnanam as destroying Ajnanam. That's why in Sanskrit, Jnanam nivartate, Ajnanam nivartate. Athava Jnanam destroys Ajnanam. When we say the real Shankara's standpoint is, according to Shankara's, we take it figuratively. It doesn't mean there is no real destruction. Okay? There is no real destruction. But when they take it as a real destruction, then some change has to take place. So the implication comes that Brahmanubhava is not Swatasiddha. It has to be acquired. Then a new change has to take place. Then what happens? In your Vichara also changes. Okay? The nature of Ajnanam and the Jnanam, the way Jnanam destroys Ajnana. First is the nature of Ajnanam. Second is the way Jnanam destroys Ajnanam. Third thing is, how do you gain the Jnanam? By doing Vichara, the nature of Vichara. These three things we discussed in the last class. How these three things change if you accept Mula Vidya. If you accept Mula Vidya, these three things change. So here he told, all this is only unnecessary. You are creating a false thing, wrong thing against Shruti, against Bhashya and against Anubhava. Okay. Some people who love more of a speculative philosophy rather than Anubhava, they may like this kind of explanation. Abba, what a beautiful explanation he has given. Jnanam comes and destroys like the light, melts away the fog. How beautifully he explained, we are able to conceive Vedanta. But in Shankara Vedanta, nothing to conceive. He doesn't allow you to conceive anything. It looks very abstract. In fact, somebody complained against Shankara and Sureshwara. You know, Panchapadika Vivarana, they explain this kind of avidya and this kind of vidya. But whereas Shankara and Sureshwara don't do that. This kind of explanation they don't give. So when Swami North Indian Peethadipati, they have published Shankara Bhashya and Anandagiri Tika and all that in Kashi. Some of you may have it also. Mahesh Institute. There the author means the editor, that Swami Mathadipati, Pithadipati, he writes in the preface of the book, see, Sureshwara and Shankara, they go by Anubhava, they don't explain philosophy. They just go by Anubhava, they don't explain philosophy. See Panchapadika Vivarana, how beautifully they explain philosophy. See this explanation, speculated explanation is appealing to him so much, and he says that Panchapadika Vivarana have done a great job. He praises Panchapadika Kara and Vivarana Kara. He says the credit should be given to Panchapadika Kara, which Shankara has not explained. Shankara went by Anubhava only. Even Sureshwara did the same thing. They are more Anubhavavadins. But Panchapadika created a real philosophy, and Vivarana explained it further, expanded it. He created a real philosophy. See, avidya he explained as a bhava rupam, and vidya comes and destroys it. How beautiful it is. He has made Shankaradvaita. He put Shankaradvaita in a high pedestal, making it more logically convincing to everybody. Therefore, this credit should go to Padmapadacharya, the great Padmapada. Now, what we consider as a Anubhava Viruddham and a unnecessary speculated philosophy, it is a great credit for him. If you read that Swami Maheshananda, I met him, I know him. He is no more now. He was a quite old man, around 90 years old at that time. I met him. He was a very nice man, good Virakta and good Vedanti, but he is a staunch follower of Panchapadika. I tell you, he would not like even Bhamati also. He would criticize Bhamati also. And you know, his criticism of Bhamati is a very strange criticism. Anyway, this is a side issue. I touched it. Since I touched it, I just mentioned 2 sentences and come back to the topic. He says, without mentioning Bhamati Kara's name, he says, Bhamati Kara may be a greater scholar. Bhamati Kara's Vedanta may be more convincing, yet he lacks the tradition. Because Bhamati Kara doesn't claim to be a direct disciple of Shankaracharya. Maybe 3 generations removed from Shankaracharya. His guru was Trilochanacharya. See, Bhamati Kara 1 century later than Shankaracharya. He had a lot of respect for Shankaracharya, and then Advaita Sampradaya, he was writing commentary on Shankar Bhashyam. Shankar Bhashyam means only Sutra Bhasha. But he never felt that, I should claim the relation to Shankaracharya, how many generations I am removed. He didn't think of it. He mentioned his guru's names and explained Shankaracharya, and has shown respect for Shankaracharya, and that's all. He felt he is blessed by that. But now they brought it, now these people are bringing in another reason in favor of Padmapadacharya. Padmapadacharya has got a plus point over Bhamati Kara. Bhamati Kara was not a direct disciple of Shankara. And then he has not mentioned in which direct disciples, Shankara's direct disciples tradition, Bhamati Kara is coming. He states his guru's name, Trilochanacharya, but how Trilochanacharya is connected to Shankara? In between maybe 2 or 3 generations, 2 or 3 gurus are missing. Bhamati Kara doesn't mention. Nor Trilochanacharya's, we don't find Trilochanacharya's are books. Nor he ever mentioned his guru's name. These days, people would have told, my guru's guru was directly Shankaracharya. So I am 3rd generation, 4th generation from Shankaracharya. People would have stated. He did not claim anything. Bhamati Kara innocently, he wrote his commentary, did namaskara to Shankara, and completed, finished it. But now they say Panchapadika Kara being a direct disciple of Shankara, even though Bhamati Kara's explanation is more convincing, yet he lacks the direct disciples of Shankara. Therefore, we will accept only Padmapada. Padmapada did lot of speculation, yet he is a direct disciple. See, this is how he argues, that Swami. And I leave it to you. Should we go by this kind of argument? I leave it to you. Okay, now I don't want to dilate more on it. It's enough now. Come back to the point. So, Panchapadika and Vivarana, they have, in these things, okay, I come back to that again, that Swamiji's point, Maheshananda Swamiji. One point you should note here, how he openly admits Shankara and Sureshwara are directly talking from Anubhava standpoint. Shankaracharya and Sureshwaracharya are directly talking from Anubhava standpoint. They were not speculating philosophy. They were not giving a speculating theoretical concepts. Hypothesis like Mula Vidya is one hypothesis. Jnanam comes and destroys is another hypothesis. These are all theoretical concepts, speculative concepts. Don't exist in Anubhava. Don't exist even in Shankara Bhashya. He admits they don't exist in Shankara. And you know that this is one strange thing, which South Indians don't accept, but he openly admits it. The speculated ideas, new ideas which Padmapada created, which Panchapadikakara created, he openly admits they don't exist in Bhashya. And he says, what did not exist in Bhashya when Padmapadacharya created, and we should give credit to him, we should appreciate how he created new ideas, new hypotheses, new theories, which did not exist in Bhashya and Sureshwara. We should give credit to him and we should feel happy for that, he says. So, in short, he admits that he speculated certain things which did not exist in Bhashya. This is what Swamiji wanted. Now, Shankaracharya's Bhashya is a complete. This is Swamiji's dictum, Swamiji's rule. Shankara Bhashya is complete. We don't need any extra additions, extra speculations over Shankara. We don't need any Nirvikalpa Samadhis. We don't need any Bhavarupa Avidya. All these things don't add any extra to Shankara Bhashya. They only spoil Shankara Bhashya. Swamiji's idea is Shankara Bhashya is complete in itself. Okay? In the Sugama Mangalacharana, I don't know, you remember when I told you, I just read out the Mangalacharana shloka. Bhashyam yadyapi purnameva. The third shloka of Sugama Mangalacharana. Mangalacharana to Sugama, third shloka in the beginning, Swamiji says, Bhashyam yadyapi purnameva. Bhashyam in itself is a complete. Bhashya did not leave out anything. Whatever is necessary for Vedanta, Shankaracharya did not leave out anything. He explained every point of the prakriya. All the prakriyas, all the steps, all the tenets of Vedanta, Shankaracharya touched them, explained them completely and thoroughly. He did not leave out anything. Some people not finding, admitting that there is no Mula Vidya stated in the Bhashya, then Shankara left out certain points unstated. Then Padmapada has to complete it. Then Shankara Bhashyam. Then what happens? Shankara Bhashyam has to be stated as incomplete. It is incomplete. Because most important, according to them, Mula Vidya was not stated by Shankara. In these things, one point we should note, they admit that Mula Vidya is not there in the Bhashya. They admit it. And they say, and it is necessary. Mula Vidya, Karana Vidya is necessary, which modifies into Adhyasa. And since it is not there in Shankara's, his disciple, the Panchapadika Kara, brought it and completed added the beautified Shankara's. You say that? Improved our Shankara, let us say. Improved our Shankara and made Shankara's Bhashya perfect. If without Panchapadika Kara's Mula Vidya, Shankara Bhashya would have become incomplete, deficient. This is what they view. At least if they say it, this much is much better. I think if Sachidananda Swamiji known these things, Swamiji would have been happy. They are admitting that Mula Vidya is not there in Shankara Bhashya. And they say that it was, the credit should be given to Panchapadika Kara who invented Mula Vidya to improve, okay, whatever his intention, to improve Shankara Bhashya and Shankara's Prakriya. They admit that he invented. They admit that it doesn't exist in Shankara Bhashya. This much is enough for us. This much is enough for us. That it doesn't exist in Shankara Bhashya. And the credit should be given to Panchapadika. We are very happy that we want to give all this credit of Mula Vidya to Panchapadikakara. We are very happy. We don't oppose it. We will totally 100% Sachidananda Swamiji would agree with them that the credit should be given to Panchapadikakara for bringing Mula Vidya, Karana Vidya, Avidya, which is the cause of Adhyasa and doesn't exist in Bhashya, and Panchapadikakara should be given credit to that. Abba, Swamiji would have been very happy. Why? You are admitting what Swamiji told indirectly. Indirectly, you are admitting Sachidanandendra Swamiji. I tell you, we are very happy with that. We are ready to give. In fact, Swamiji gave the same thing. We want to give credit to Panchapadikakara for inventing Mula Vidya. They are upset. They say, no. We know Panchapadikakara explained. It is not there in the Bhashya, yet it must be in the Bhashya. It is not there in the Bhashya, but it is in the mind of Shankaracharya. You found another philosophy. It is not there in the Bhashya, but it was in the mind of Shankaracharya. Not writing in the Bhashya, he gave it personally to Padmapadacharya. Personally, he gave it to the Panchapadikakara. This is what they created. This is not acceptable. We are Bhashya Bhaktas. Okay? Shankaracharya has expressed himself through his Bhashya. We believe that Bhashya is complete. Shankaracharya did not write incomplete Bhashyas, inadequate Bhashya. Okay? And didn't ask Panchapadikakara to speculate Mula Vidya because I wrote incomplete and you make complete. Shankara, we don't admit Sachidanandendra Swamiji, and we don't admit that Shankara made his Bhashya incomplete, expecting others to complete it. Shankara was not writing a puzzle. Prahelika. Shankara was not writing a puzzle. Puzzle kene heltare Kannada in Todaku? I don't know. Shankara was not writing a puzzle. Shankara was writing a complete prakriya through his Bhashya. Therefore, we take Bhashya is Shankara's teaching and complete teaching. Okay? We take Bhashya is as complete teaching. Then we don't require this confusion. Okay? Now we'll proceed. This is a little bit about a historical thing. We'll proceed now. Now the Purva Pakshi says, the adhyasa which you are seeing is not simple perception. Purva Pakshi says adhyasa is not simply misperception. It is not simply misunderstanding. There is an object corresponding to the misunderstanding. Okay? This is where the deviation begins. Note where you deviate from Shankara's. Adhyasa, Shankaracharya says adhyaso mithya pratyaya rupaha. It is simply a misunderstanding. They say it is not misunderstanding alone. Okay. It is not misunderstanding alone. There is a wrong object corresponding to the misunderstanding. Now once you start the wrong object, then whole their prakriya comes. Their prakriya starts with, along with misunderstanding, there is a corresponding wrong object, false object. For false knowledge requires a false object. Okay. And that false object is anirvachaniya. It neither exists nor doesn't exist. It exists in a way, but in another way it doesn't exist. Okay. So it is an anirvachaniya existence. And it requires, okay, first it is anirvachaniya padartha. Note this. First point is anirvachaniya padartha. Second point, it is produced. It is beginning. It has a beginning. Anirvachani, adhyasa is anirvachaniya padartha, not mithya jnanam. For them, the very word mithya means a false substance. Okay. Mithya doesn't mean false knowledge for them. Mithya means anirvachaniya. A quality, a particular type of object, A particular kind of existence is called mithya according to them. Here you see the deviation, you can see clearly. A deviation from Shankara. We are coming back and front because unless you compare and contrast with Shankara's Prakriya and then Mula Vidya Prakriya, you would not understand. Therefore, we have to state the Prakriya and come back and compare. Again state and again come back and compare. Therefore, it may look repetition to you because unless you compare, unless you know both, you can't compare. Okay? Unless you know both, you can't compare. Unless you compare, you don't know the difference. Therefore, if you simply state and go forward, you would not be able to compare. We state Bhashya Prakriya and their Prakriya and again come back to compare them. That's why it looks repetition for you. Now I am comparing. I stated their two Prakriyas, now I am comparing their two Prakriyas. So that you can see the subtle difference between them. Okay. So first is, it is an Anirvachaniya Padartha. It is an Anirvachaniya positive, it is not simply misunderstanding. Whenever they say Anirvachaniya, don't think it is simple knowledge. See the Anirvachaniya note it. When Vyakhyanakaras, post-Shankarites say Anirvachaniya, we say Anirvachaniya is different. When we say Anirvachaniya, it is only Jnanam. The misunderstanding is only neither one with Brahman nor independent of Brahman. Anirvachaniyam is about Jnanam, about Mithya Jnanam, about wrong knowledge. For them, Anirvachaniya is a Padartha in the wake of misunderstanding. A substance, a material substance in the wake of misunderstanding. A peculiar Pratibhasika Vastu or a Vyavaharika Vastu. They call it Vyavaharika is a Padartha. That Padartha arises in the wake of avidya, in the wake of misunderstanding. So along with false jnanam, there is a false substance. That false substance is Anirvachaniya. First point. Second point, it is a product. Okay. Then product requires a cause. Third point is a cause. And that what is the cause? Now here we were discussing, I think we were discussing here. He says the cause must be a material cause. Now he is imagining, once you accept that Adhyasa is a production, Adhyasa is a substance, it is a production, it is a product, you have to accept that there must be a material cause. Now he himself is imagining, all this is described in Vivarana. Panchapadika commentary over Panchapadika is a Vivarana. Prakashatmayati describes in Vivarana. I read it long before when I was in Brahmachari. In 86 only I read this in Rishikesh library. There was a very big book. I read it. He discusses this. And later also I read it recently again. I read it a few weeks ago, 1 or 2 weeks ago. So he says, now he himself imagining, this is one more thing. He says, Adhyasa requires a cause. Now at this stage again two differences, two opinions. Okay, let us say Adhyasa requires a cause, a previous thing, some substance, something previous. But what is that previous thing which produces Adhyasa? Somebody told, for example, Bhamatikara says, previous Adhyasa was the cause of this Adhyasa. Bhranti becomes the cause of another Bhranti, that's all. There is only a Bhranti Santana. Bhranti Santana or Bhranti Samskara. Okay? You have accepted to study Sugama. Then I must say all these things because I was teaching all these things. We were studying as a Mula Vidya teachers. We have studied and taught it. Okay. So for you, I am telling you, Adhyasa requires, let us take a concrete example that the rope is mistaken for snake. To mistake the rope for snake, the misunderstanding of the snake, the Bhranti of snake. Snake Bhranti is possible if there was a previous Bhranti. Or there is a samskara of the snake. we require the samskara of the snake, then only snake is produced. Okay. Now, Purvapakshi first told that there is a material substance which transforms into snake. Now somebody objected, why do you imagine that material substance? Leave it. Okay. Then what is the other alternative? Other alternative is that the previous Bhranti is the cause of this Bhranti. This is Bhamatikara's explanation. Previous Bhranti is the cause of this Bhranti. Now, if the previous Bhranti is the cause of this Bhranti, then what is the cause of that previous Bhranti? Then you have to say, then previous, then previous, then previous. Then it will become Anavastha dosha. But they say it is Anadi. Anadi chain. This Bhranti is caused by previous Bhranti, that was caused by previous Bhranti, that was caused by previous Bhranti, like this. There is a beginningless chain of Bhranti. Okay. These are all different explanations. I don't know if you like it. We can go. But it is there. You have to have patience. Listen to me. One explanation is Bhranti has another causal Bhranti and that has got another cause. There is a chain of Bhranti. Okay. Second point is, if directly Bhranti is not the cause of next Bhranti, a chain of Bhranti, let us assume in between Bhranti samskara. Okay. First there was a Bhranti. Bhranti disappears. When it disappears, it leaves some impressions, some samskara in your mind. Okay? An adhyasa, when adhyasa disappears, it leaves some samskara in your mind. And that samskara reproduces next Bhranti. So, previous Bhranti leaves samskara in your mind and this samskara produces next Bhranti. And that Bhranti, when it disappears, it leaves samskara and that produces next Bhranti. This is a slightly modified explanation of chain of Bhrantis. One explanation is A and B, let us say. One explanation is a series of Bhrantis, a chain of Bhranti. One Bhranti becomes the cause of another Bhranti. Within the same thing, another slightly deviating explanation is Bhranti leaves samskara, samskara produces Bhranti. So in between Bhranti and Bhranti there is a samskara. Bhranti leaves samskara, samskara produces next Bhranti, that Bhranti leaves samskara, that produces next Bhranti. So Bhranti in between samskara. So these two explanations. So somebody asked, why do you want Mula Vidya, Karana Vidya? Accept that Adhyasa is the previous Adhyasa is the cause of this Adhyasa. Or if you like, you may add Samskara, Adhyasa, Samskara. Okay. So previous Adhyasa was the cause of this Adhyasa. That is enough. Don't bring Mula Vidya. Somebody asked. Purvapakshi, that is Vivaranakara, Prakashatma Yate says no. He says he got angry. Durjana Ramaniyam Vachan Jalpati. He told Durjana, like a wicked fellow. See the words which are very pleasing to the wicked fellows you are talking. You being a wicked man talking a very pleasing words, he got angry. You can't say that Bhranti alone is the cause of the Bhranti. Bhranti cannot be the cause of the Bhranti. You must accept the Mula Vidya, Karana Vidya, material Avidya. He got angry and Durjana Ramani, I remember it in 86, I read this statement. Durjana Ramaniyam Vacham Vadati. Vacham Jalpati, Vadati Allah. Jalpati he told. Durjana Ramaniyam Vacham Jalpati. And he says Dandayamana Mula Vidya. That Karana Vidya which exists in waking, dream and deep sleep like a Dandayamana, unbroken stick. Like an unbroken stick. Dandayamana and means what? Unbroken stick, it continues. You don't accept it and you want to say only Bhranti. Previous Bhranti is the cause of this Bhranti and then like this you want only chain of Bhrantis and you don't want to accept Mula Vidya. And he criticizes them. Those who say that only Adhyasa is the cause of Adhyasa and no Karana Vidya. And then after abusing him, that Vivaranakara. Because I read it, what can I do? I read it, he abused it. And then he says, I think you should read that. If you have a patience, you should know little Sanskrit and little Tarka Shastra. I tell you, it is very nice to see. They're all cock and bull story, their myth, they're creating their what you say in English, castles in the air. The building in the air, you could listen. Panchapadika, Vivarana is very interesting. If you want, I can teach you, but you should know little Sanskrit and little Tarka. Without studying Tarka, without studying Vyakarana, I cannot explain to you. That Vivaranakara's language is beautiful. Panchapadika's language also is beautiful. Okay. So he says, Nacha Bhranti Santanasya, Bhranti Samskarasya va, Samskara Santanasya va, Bijankuravat Karyakaranatva Sambhavaha iti Shankyam. Therefore, previous Bhranti cannot be the cause of this. Previous Bhranti Samskara also cannot be cause of it, because Bhranti Samskaranam Karyatve Siddhetesham Anyonya Upadanatva Sikarasya Anyayatvat. He says, one Bhranti cannot be the Upadana Karanam for Bhranti, because both are Karya. Bhrantis are Karya. It can't be Upadana Karanam for another. It is Anyaya. See, Bija Karana, if you say, see, is very interesting. He says, Bija and what you say that? Ankura. Bija and Ankura. What is that? Tree and the seed. People said, what is the cause of the seed? Tree. What is the cause of the tree? Earlier seed. Seed and tree, seed and sprout, speed and trout. Who is the cause? And he says, in this series of Bija and Ankura, seed and sprout, they cannot be Karana, because each one is a Karya of previous. One defect in these things in Chinese, one Bija is the cause of a tree. That tree is a cause of another Bija, not of the same Bija. Okay. This tree is not the cause of its own Bija. It is a cause of next Bija. That Bija is a cause of a next tree. So each one is a Karya of the next one. There is no Karana. Therefore we can't accept it. Who says? Vivaranakara. Therefore, he says, Bhranti Samskaranam Karyatve Siddhe. Both are Karya. They are produced. How can they be Karana? A Karana should be eternal Karana. What he means to say is, see, in Bija and Vriksha, each one is a Karana. Bija is a Karana for next Vriksha, and that Vriksha is a Karana, tree is a Karana for the next Bija. Each one is a cause for the next one, but effect of the previous one. Okay? In the Bija and Vriksha, in this Bija and Ankura, each Bija or Ankura is a cause of the next one, but effect of the previous one. Therefore, what is an effect cannot be the cause. He says, we want an eternal cause. We want an eternal cause, not a tentative cause. Vivaranakara says, it should be purely cause, not a tentatively cause and tentatively effect. No, we want a pure cause. It can't be. There must be a pure cause that can be only a Mula Vidya. Therefore, Bhranti Samskara Santana Abhyupagamepi Anavastha Daustyacha Atho Yatteshu Agamapayitva Anugatam Tadeva Tesham Upadanam. Therefore, Upadana Karanam should be determined by Anvaya Vyatireka. This is important. Purvapakshi says that by Anvaya Vyatireka decide. Like mud is there. Teshu Agamapayitvam. Why Purvapakshi is rejecting Bhranti? One reason is Bhranti itself is a product. It can't be a cause of another. And a cause should be Anugata, inherent in the effect. Like Upadana Karanam. Like mud is a Karanam for the pot. So the mud should be present in the pot. Mud should be sustaining the pot. Therefore, previous Bhranti cannot be the cause of next Bhranti, because previous Bhranti cannot be the material cause. Just as Mud is the material cause for the pot. Mud is the material cause for the pot. Gold is the material cause for ornament. So previous Bhranti cannot constitute the material of the next Bhranti. It may be a sequential, that's all. You can only say that was a previous Bhranti, it is a later Bhranti. It can be a Nimitta Karanam, can't be Upadana Karanam. So previous Bhranti has triggered the next Bhranti. A previous Bhranti has encouraged the next Bhranti. It can be a Nimitta Karanam, but can't be Upadana Karanam. It might have encouraged. If you have committed the previous mistake, it must have, like a criminal, a thief has committed crime once, so that samskara must have encouraged him to commit another theft another time. Okay. That old samskara must have encouraged him, must have inspired him to commit a theft second time and third time, and it goes on. So in the chain of Bhrantis, previous Bhranti can be a Nimitta Karanam, an inspiring Karanam for the next. That's all. But it can't be material Karanam. Upadana Karanam. But we say Adhyasa requires Upadana Karanam. Okay? And previous Bhranti cannot be the Upadana Karanam for the next Bhranti. Okay? Previous Bhranti can encourage you. Because your mind has that samskara, so you may again tend to mistake. That much is accepted, but not material cause. Okay, for material cause, only mud, just as a mud is the material for the pot, gold is the material for a ornament, and just as a thread, cotton is the material for cotton cloth. Similarly, we need a similar material cause. Okay, for adhyasa, you require a material cause. Purvapakshi wants a brick, material substance. And where do you get it? Tacha ajnanamityakamenapi sika. Therefore, since you don't have any other material cause, we need material cause. You must accept that Mula Vidya is the only material cause. But you are assuming, where is it? Isn't it? He says it must be there, you must accept it, you must assume it, it must be there. It is only must be there, you must accept it. These are the only words, but where is it in our Anubhava? He says, since you have accepted, it must be in your Anubhava. See the argument. First he says, it must be there. You must accept it. It must be there. But must be there is only an argument, not a fact. And he says, since it must be there, it must be present in your Anubhava. Therefore, you must accept it. It is in. So these are all speculations. You are imagining. Imagining. Okay. Now next he says, Siddhanti comes into picture. Okay. Siddhanti says, Idi enappa, jnana abhava, not knowing the adhishtanam is enough. When you don't know, anischita yatha rajjuhu andhakare vikalpita, Gaudapadacharya told. When you don't know the rope, in that not knowing condition of the rope, there is a misunderstanding. Misunderstanding is present in the condition of not knowing the reality, isn't it? In the condition of not knowing the reality, you find, in the situation of not knowing the reality, you find a misunderstanding. That's all. Not knowing is the condition in which you find a misunderstanding. Why do you need material cause? We need a condition, a situation. Condition is enough. Don't call it a material cause. Material cause is a real substance which transforms into it. Siddhanti says no. Why don't you say simple absence of knowledge? You didn't know Brahman, therefore you misunderstand to be Jagat. You didn't know the rope, therefore you misunderstood it to be the snake. Isn't it enough? No. He says, Nanu jnana bhava vyatirekena tadrush ajnanam na prasiddham. Other than simply not knowing Brahman. See, when you don't know the rope, you see the snake. And before the snake, what was existing? Simply say, I don't know the rope. That's all. When you do, before the Jagat, there is only a not knowing of Brahman. Simply there is an absence of knowledge. Why don't you accept absence of knowledge? Why do you want a material substance with Brahman? Najñasisham shuktim idanim tu janami अज्ञानम निवृत्तम इत्यज्ञान तन्निवृत्त्योः सुप्रसिद्धत्वात् न चायं ज्ञानाभावः अपरोक्षत्वात्. You know what Purvapakshi says? No. Simply absence of knowledge. Even if Gaudapada told, they don't accept it. See how they interpret Gaudapadacharya, Shankaracharya statements in their own way. Anischita yatharajjuhu andhakare vikalpita. For not knowing the rope, you happen to see the snake. That's all. Not knowing is not knowing a substance. See, he has not come. Who is that person? When you say he has not come, is not coming an object or an event? Is not coming an event? I ask you. He is not here. Where is that? Show me. Somebody asked, somebody was taking a name of Manjunatha. Somebody told, no, he is not here, he has not come. He is not here. The another person asked, show me. You told he is not here, show me, where is he not here? He is not here can be shown. If his presence can be shown, can you show an absence of something? Person is absent, can you show him? See, in the school or in a college, few boys have come, boys or girls. This many are present. Out of 25 people, 24 fellows boys are present. You marked present of everybody. And somebody asked, one boy is absent. Show him, where is he absent? He brought the register. And so see, here I marked him, he is absent. All other people are present. You know what he told? You are showing the register. I am asking you to show his absence in the class. Can you show the absence of a person in the class? 24 boys are present, boys and girls, students, okay. 24 students are present and 25th is absent. Show him. How can you show the absence? Can you show the absence? He says, Jnana bhava anischita yatharajjuhu andhakare vikalpita. Not knowing the rope, you tend to see it as a snake. Not knowing the rope is only an absence of knowledge. It is not a positive substance. Okay. Purvapakshi says, don't say that. Nagyasisham shuktim. I did not know the silver. I did not know the what you call seashell. I did not know rope. It is our anubhava. Idanim tu janami. I did see. After light is brought, you come to see the rope. Okay. When you bring the light, switch on the light, you see the snake. Now when you switch on the light and see the rope, sorry. When you switch on the light and see the rope, I said snake. Okay, sorry, I correct it. When you switch on the light and you see the rope, what happens? I did not know the rope and now I know the rope. In this anubhava, you watch this anubhava. Earlier I did not know the rope, therefore I misunderstood for snake. I didn't know the rope, that's why I misunderstood. When I saw the rope now, the ajnanam goes away now. Now the ajnanam which has gone, what is the nature of ajnanam? Now it is a let us test in our anubhava. When you say, I did not know the rope when I saw the snake. When I saw the snake, I did not know the rope. When a light is brought, I came to know the rope. Now when I say, I did not know the rope and I came to know the rope by removing ajnanam. Now what is that nature of ajnanam which you had before and which is removed? The removing the ajnanam, what is the nature of ajnanam removed? What is the nature of ajnanam which you had before? Purvapakshi told, it is simply not knowing. Not knowing is the only ajnanam. He says no. When you said I did not know, there was a positive substance in your mind, look at it. Look at your mind, there was a positive material in your mind. And when you say ajnanam is gone, when the light is brought, ajnanam is gone. Look at it, see what has gone. There's something has gone, see. See, there is something has gone. Siddhanti says, where is that going and coming? There is neither going nor coming. I simply say I didn't know. It is an absence. And when I knew the rope, that's all. I knew the rope. No going. What is that going? He says something has gone. That is mula vidya. That is positive avidya. That is a material avidya. There is no material for going and coming. neither existing nor going. It is not a material, it is simple absence. Simple not knowing. Purvapakshi says no. Etyajnana tanyavrityoha suprasiddha. Yellara anubhavadallide. It is there in everybody's experience that there is a positive substance. When you say, I didn't know the rope, you have a positive in your mind. When you say the ignorance is gone, something positive has gone. It is in everybody's anubhava. Hey, where is this appa? See, Purvapakshi says it is in your anubhava. This is very speculating. Non-existing is anubhava, he is creating anubhava. First he speculated. Then later he speculates that as an anubhava. Anubhava is a speculation. Can anybody speculate anubhava? I am asking you. Can you imagine that there is a pain? And then after imagination, can you start having a pain? See, you may imagine a pain but laugh at it. By imagination you don't come to experience the pain. And he says, it is speculated and it is experienced also. Oh my God. Nachayam jnana bhavaha aparokshatvat. He says, it is aparoksha anubhava. Therefore you have a positive anubhava. Atmano abhava pramana prameyatvat tadashrita jnanasyapi abhava pramana prameyatva yogacha is another technical. Then I have to tell you abhava pramana and all that. I think it will be unnecessary technical. I'll just tell you this much. There is a abhava pramana. Anupalabdhi pramana, we say out of the 6 pramanas there is anupalabdhi pramana. With anupalabdhi pramana, if you want to say that it is an absence of knowledge, you have to use anupalabdhi pramana. He says there is no pramana, therefore it is not absence of knowledge, it is a positive substance called ignorance. It is not simply absence. Purvapakshi says, Abba, okay, this much we stop it. And we are shifting the argument. We will discuss it next class. Okay. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.